Hi, I'm Alexi. I live in this city called Columbus. And to be honest, it's kind of a bullshit city. Like, I live in this area called University District. It's by this university called Ohio State. Actually, I think I just pissed off everyone there because they like to call it the Ohio State. I don't know why. They just have some weird obsession with the word the. But I live in this area, so I have to deal with like drunk frat parties and um, occasionally you'll hear like girls screaming date rape out the window. Eventually you just kind of learn to tune it all out though. Um, anyway, it's an old streetcar suburb. It's pretty cool. It's like you can you can kind of see you've got a little bit of gentrification mixed in here, but a lot of it's like these like old like streetcar houses. Some of them are like duplexes. They're very, they're fine. And there's these guys. I like these guys. Look at these guys. They're pretty cool. They got like these. They're almost like row houses, but they're not. They're not row houses at all. And you can find a few other examples of them just kind of spread throughout Columbus and in various places like here. It's very similar style. I can show you my favorite just down the road. Just down the road this way, right here. This little thing here. It's Summit Terrace. These are fucking badass. These are my favorite little apartments. They even go around the block and continue over here. Yeah. It's honestly the closest thing you get in Columbus to like anything remotely resembling goodness as far as urban planning goes. Everything else, and I kind of like these, I kind of like these. I kind of like you go up a little bit further. Let's see here. Just kidding, right here. These are cool. I like how they kind of go back. They got a little courtyard. It's not a parking lot. They just fucking put a drive-through through there and put parking on the side. No, they actually got like a little courtyard. Pretty nice. Good for families. But everything else is bullshit. It's all bullshit. Look at these. Look at these, for example. Bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's bullshit. Actually, I kind of like this building. I'm not gonna lie. I like this building. This is a good building. This isn't bullshit. Actually, this is out of date. Currently, right now, they are putting like porches. Like they're putting porches on here and renovating it, which that's cool. I don't mind the building having porches. That's a pretty cool thing. The main problem is just that they're not building more of this building. Why can't we have more of this? Why can't we have more porches? Because you go down here. Let's go down here. Let me show you. Let me show you exactly what's going on. See, okay, you got these two big lots here, right? This isn't the main point, but you can see they're building this. This is actually really good. I like this, except for its gentrification. Now, this is actually finished in real life. Like, this is finished, and actually they did really good with the facade. They're very historical looking facades, probably not a sufficient replacement for what was there before. So I looked it up, and it definitely was actually a sufficient replacement. This is the corner as of 1953. I spent $10 to buy this image. So I wanted to make sure I got my fair use out of it. So as you can see on the corner, there is a diagonal building that is tiny. I don't know if it's a 1 or a 2-story building, but based on the shadow, I'm going to go ahead and say it's maybe a 1-story building. And then there's a couple of houses they bulldozed. What they ended up replacing it with afterwards was this gas station. Actually, it's not even a gas station. I think it's just a car lot, like it's some car dealership. That's what they replaced it with. Yeah, so frankly, I'm not impressed. It turns out Columbus was always a shit city. Who would have thunk it? Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Oh, and there's like this sick-ass hookah cafe building. that's a lit-ass building. I like this building. It's my favorite. And then there's also this like Del Baggio pizza place, which is kind of bullshit because it's a parking lot surrounded by a kind of shitty looking pizza place. But I will say they have some lit-ass food. If you're ever in Columbus, they actually are really good. Just don't get delivery because I hear it's not very good. So look, that's not the main bullshit. That's nice. That's nice. But you know what the real bullshit is? You know what the realest, baddest bullshit is? First of all, look at this. This is bullshit. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, they're fine looking if they were in the suburbs, but they're not. They're like 10 blocks. Like, what street is this? What street is this? This is 2nd Street. That's like 2 blocks from being downtown. Okay, maybe 3. But like, that's downtown right there. All of this shit is downtown. And they're building fucking suburban houses near downtown. Why? Why are they building it that close to downtown? You know, like, it just blows my mind, the stupidity of it. It's like an affront to just misery. It's like they couldn't have chosen a stupider thing to do. And if you just go down here a little more, and I know it's kind of a little further from downtown, but this right here, this is empty right in here, but it's not in real life. They've started building some more extremely similar to this type of like single family homes. They've put maybe 4 of them, just like these, on these style of lots. Just single family homes. Hi, it's me in Post again. I wanted to make a brief addendum because it turns out this whole part of the block did not used to actually be just nothing. It actually used to be 3 apartment buildings that were built in the late 50s, early 60s. These apartment buildings they were 3 stories tall each. And if I had to take a wild guess, they would have held 4 units per floor, times 3 floors would be 12 units per building, times 3 buildings would be 36 units total. So there were 36 apartments, assuming that's accurate. Now that might have been off by a little bit, because maybe there's a laundry room in 1 or 2 of the buildings or something. Maybe. So maybe it's the 33 or 34, maybe there's some maintenance rooms. Sure. But it's around in the 30s, I think we can safely say. And so this makes me wonder, okay, well, how many units do they have now? Because now we have, I believe there's 5 lots here where they've built these style of single-family homes on them. So there are 5 units there, and they have 5 units here. Actually, there might only be 4 units here, so in which case there's 9. 9 total units, whereas there used to be like over 30. You see the problem? You see the problem that Columbus has? They're kind of doing something wrong because, you know, you kind of over time you want your city to increase in population, especially when there's significant demand. Like a city like Columbus, which is growing at like 10,000 people a year. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the whole Midwest, let alone the whole country. It's pretty far up there. And yet we see this, the pattern where the city is not doing well at densifying. I could see the argument that perhaps these buildings were run down. They might have been lacking sufficient maintenance, and they were probably kind of shit. They were older buildings, to be fair, and they were built at a time that might not have been conducive to that kind of thing. They look like kind of shitty apartment buildings. But if you go and tear them down, you can't just replace them with 9 single-family homes. You have to like actually try to do something more with them. But what was done was a real disgrace. And now what ostensibly was an entire neighborhood corner has been stripped down to a suburb. And a suburb that, no matter what way you put it, is in a terrible location. Right here, in the middle of bustling University District. Right near here the short north, which is like the prime gentrification district where everything is. And they have it's a pretty nice main street. But you know what they don't have on this really great main street that's really like designed for like streetcar density? A streetcar. That's right. They don't have a streetcar in their streetcar suburb where they designed everything around a streetcar and all the buildings are for a streetcar. They don't have a streetcar. Why don't they have a streetcar? That's a great question. So they have buses. You see, they have buses, but they don't even have any good bus stops. Like, they just have, like, fucking, hey, there's a sign. Like, look at this. That's the bus stop. That's the fucking bus stop. What? You're supposed to be able to see that and find out that there's a bus stop there. Like, you could just miss that if you just blink. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's objectively awful. This is a thing now that wasn't there on maps, but that's a thing. They built like a 3-story building. It's fine. You know, it's fine. You know, assuming what was there before wasn't that great, which usually it's fine. It's kind of fine. Yeah, it really is fine. Because this is what was there before. Yeah, the world did not lose anything significant. However, what was here before this, I didn't want to spend another $10 on that site. So let me go ahead and describe what was there. There was a couple of buildings here that were kind of like this, you know, traditional row-style buildings that were probably built in the early 1900s, late 1800s. And then there was a parking lot here and a parking lot here. You see, and then by 1953, they had already begun the American urban renewal policies that essentially gutted out all of the cities because of systemic racism, essentially. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the thing, is that it's really rather complicated. I'll make videos on that in the future. So yeah, it really is fine, because what was lost over half a century ago. So unfortunately, one of those kind of things, but hard to argue with new development over a place like this. This building's badass. It's probably my favorite building in town. It looks like some European-ass building. And no, it's like in fucking Columbus. There probably used to be like 500 billion of these things in town, but then they tore them all down and put parking lots up and highways. Speaking of which, out of the gentrified Hell District, this highway, and 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 all of these highways, they're such bullshit. They're such bullshit. Look at these. They go around in a circle. It's like a fucking merry-go-round. You can just go woo, and go around the loop, on your fucking car, going around in a fucking loop-de-loop on the highway. What the fuck? What the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? 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 And right beside it, Columbus State Community College. Parking lot, 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 parking garage. Parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot. Another parking lot, more parking lot, a secondary parking lot, a tertiary parking lot, a quaternary parking lot, a quintuplary parking lot, a sextuplary shipping container yard? More shipping container yard? Yeah, what the fuck? This is like downtown, right next to downtown. Okay, in fairness, I think one of these parking lots, they're putting a building on. I want to say it's this one, yeah. This parking lot doesn't exist anymore. In real life, it is gone, it doesn't exist. This street is actually, they're building it right now. Like this, it's like at least a 4 or 5 story building. So that's something. In fact, it's not even just a 4 or 5 story building, it's a 7-story building. But I'll tell you what they probably are doing, is they're probably building a parking garage in it. Yep, they certainly are building a parking garage. Because you know what Columbus has for public transit? Buses. And like when I say buses, like I don't mean like, oh, cool, sick ass like rapid transit bus systems where they have elevated platforms like Colombia in fucking Bogota or some shit. No, no, no. When I say buses, I mean they have shitty ass buses with those stops that you can blink and walk by on accident. Yeah, I think this is a bus stop right here. This little signpost, maybe. No, just kidding. It's actually just it's like a direction sign, so you know where you're going. Convention center. I wonder how many row houses they had to tear down to build that. It makes me wonder. Columbus State College, same thing. They could have built it just the college, right, without the 99 acres of parking lots around it. But no. Why would they invest in public transit when they could just bulldoze the whole fucking city and build parking lots that everyone loves and knows to be so great and so fun? Like, who doesn't love a good giant-ass 3-block wide parking lot? I know Columbus does, that's for fucking sure. But hey, at least they got a parking garage. At least they got density. Real density, surrounded by the suburbs. See, that's what cities are. They're just parking lots and structures for parking and more parking and cars. Oh yes, cars. Oh, they even have this fancy ass looking kaleidoscope looking fucking acid trip looking bullshit going on here, which that's cool because you need that because you got the cars. See, you gotta drive, and you want to get into the actual college, you gotta go park in the parking garage, and to get across the parking garage and not have to experience the vast inconvenience of potentially being rained on for 3 seconds, you gotta go through this thing that they spend all of their money on instead of on like trains or any kind of adequate public transportation. Speaking of which, by the way, Union Station. There used to be something called Union Station. Let me go ahead and look it up, because I don't think it exists anymore. Yeah, Union Cafe. We got a Union Cafe now. That's what we have here. See, there used to be a thing called Union Station downtown. I think it's where the convention center used to be, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I think it was like right here. I think that's where it was. And now we have a convention center and a giant-ass hotel. And, it's terrible. You see, Columbus is the largest city in the United States without any kind of passenger rail service whatsoever within the city or going out of the city. Amtrak does not serve the city of literally, like, 2 million people in the metropolitan area. Like, all of these fucking suburbs in the city combined is 2 million people. And the city population, 800,000. Now, that counts like a good portion outside of the inner city. Sure, there's like 14,000 people that live in this area in downtown. Because all the fucking city's been bulldozed. Now, sure, they're making progress. Like, a couple years ago, it was like 10,000. Sure, they're making progress. Like, this is a new development. Maybe that's, yeah, so you can see that's a thing. But where's the transit? None of this means anything if they have to build 15 spaces of parking lot garage in addition to every fucking unit. That's like $35,000 a parking lot? A parking spot, I mean? Like, what? They have to do that with every single new building. Because there's no other good way to get around. The bus system sucks. It just sucks. It just objectively is the worst. Parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot, parking lot. You can see the travesties here. And look at this. Look at I-71. It just kind of comes through N70. It's like a combo wombo highway system. Look at this interchange. It's terrible. It's the worst interchange. Look at this thing. They built this, like, it was supposed to be like an on-ramp. They gave up on it. They were just like, nah, you know what? Who needs an on-ramp when you can just have an abandoned bridge slowly rusting away looking like shit? They tore down everything. They tore down all of these blocks, all of these old buildings. Look at the neighborhood adjacent here. This area is called German Village. It's badass. Is it not a badass looking area? Like, look at these sick ass like brick buildings. They're fucking awesome. Like, Who the fuck thought, like, oh, let's just bulldoze all of it and send a fucking highway straight through it? That'll help it. That'll totally help it. Like, look at these. Look at these buildings. Look at them. They're so goddamn cool. Like, who the fuck thought, yeah, let's tear them down. Now we just have a fucking gap where the city's just gone. I don't know what the hell they're doing along here, and you know, frankly, I don't care, because I know one thing that's for fucking sure, they're not taking out the highway. And look at this interchange. Good Christ. How many blocks did they tear down to build this? Real quick, here's a comparison image from 1953 to 2015. It shows you just how many hundreds of buildings were torn down, not just in the name of highways, but in the name of parking lots towards downtown there, you can see, and in that development group down south of the highway interchange, where you can see there are dozens of parking lots, and there's new buildings there, but they are parking oriented, and dozens of old neighborhoods were torn down to build all of this, where they could have been restored, revitalized, and maintained as part of the city. No longer do they remain. They have been cast into oblivion. How many blocks did they tear down to build this? Because it looks like they tore down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 15, just in this like little area here, 15 blocks. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 44, 35, 36, 47, 48, 49 billion. Good Christ. Like, how much real estate space has just been given away in the city to just, like, highways, to fucking cars, instead of adequate public transportation systems, which would pay itself back in, like, 3 fucking milliseconds? Nah, let's just build highways, and then people complain about traffic and have genuinely worse off lives, but, oh, we couldn't possibly spend money on public transportation because the whole city's owned by the fucking suburbs, and no one out there apparently realizes that their tax money means something and that they live in a society because they are so fucking far removed from society that they've apparently forgotten that. They've apparently forgotten the whole fact that their taxes could actually do something like pay for public services that are supposed to benefit everyone and not just pay for endless military wars off in the Middle East somewhere, destabilizing regions of the world so America can secure its oil interests so it can keep up its fucking cars and its highways and its parking lots everywhere. Meanwhile, it destroys its goddamn cities. It's like a whole fucking cycle of bullshit. It's like literally the worst fucking thing. Why? Why does this exist? Why does everything exist? Why does America do this? Why does this? I know the answer. I know. Don't tell me. It's corruption. It's this country just being bullshit. It's a republic and it's fucking stupid. Look at this building. This is a good building. I like these buildings. They're nice. Okay. I just wanted to add that in there because, look, this country sucks. It sucks in a lot of ways. This city sucks in a lot of ways. But there's little remnants of the past. This building's abandoned. I wish it wasn't because it's such a cool building. Look at it. Look at it. Look at this building. Now, this building serves one function. It's a car company advertisement. That's it. That's the only thing that this building does now. It's been destroyed. It's been hollowed out. It's a husk of its former self. It's not used. It's sitting in between 2 different parking lots where it used to sit between other row buildings that were beautiful. An entire neighborhood. And now it exists as a metaphor for this entire city. An advertisement for cars. What bullshit. Okay, that's the video, folks. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, feel free to give it a like on YouTube here and subscribe to my channel. And make sure you hit that bell. That's important stuff. If you have any recommendations for my next video, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And I also want to give a quick shout out to historicaerials.com for being an amazing resource for all kinds of historic imagery. And I think that's all for now. So have a lovely evening, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.